organize things and build foundation so you have something to work off of without getting too caught up there, again, in making sure that everything is done your way. With the name David, you have 3 4s in the spelling of your name, so the control thing might be a real big issue for you.
Does any of that ring a bell, David?
Oh, yeah. They're good. Wow.
Do you work with your hands at all, David?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah, you have a real talent. I mean, again, without knowing your full name, you have 3 4s in just your first name. The average number of times that a 4 appears in the name is 1 to 2, and 4s are represented by the letters D, M, and V. So when people have a lot of 4s in their name, one, you can be very anal. But the other thing is that you have a real ability to work well with your hands. So you could be a craftsman, a sculptor, whatever, or a musician, something where, like a guitar, piano, where the hands are the thing that is actually needed to play the instrument. And another caution here, again, with all of that 4 energy and that 8 life path would be that when you get angry, you need to be careful that you don't get physical. Now, this may have been more of an issue when you were younger, I'm assuming at the age of, 52 now, that this is past. But there may have been a time in your life when your anger ended up in fistfights.
Were you a bad boy when you were a teenager, David?
No.
Well, did you get angry?
Yeah, there was one time when I got angry.
Yeah, because David is so laid back. I can't even imagine him being like that.
Do you have a temper, David?
Yeah, I do, but I keep it restrained a lot. I think more about it, so I don't. I try and look on both sides, rather than just looking on my side. So I try and understand both sides of it before I do act out, if I do.
Well, one of the good things to remember here when it comes to losing your temper, to getting angry, is that anger is misplaced power. And inevitably, we get angry when someone moves us off of our power point. So what you need to become aware of and cognizant of is the fact that someone or something has done something to dislodge that for you. And rather than get angry, that's where the counting to 10 at times comes in handy, because it gives you a little bit of time to reflect on what exactly is going on here. And again, anger burns a lot of energy. It burns it incorrectly and ends up more often than not creating more problems than it's worth. And the other thing with the 8, if you lay an 8 on its side, it's a representation of infinity, or the law of return, the law of attraction. Now, we all lead karmic lives, but with an 8, the karma at times can be almost instantaneous. So you need to be very, very aware of how you put yourself out there and how you do what you do, because the results will come back to you quite quickly. I use this as it's a very mundane example, but it gets the point across. If you were somewhere tonight, and when you left, you got in your car and you pulled out of the parking lot, and in pulling out of the parking lot, you cut somebody off.
Right.
Chances are very good that before you got home, someone would do the exact same thing to you.
Wow.
So you need to become aware of the cause-effect element of your actions, and understand fully that what you put out will return to you. So if you're not real happy with what's coming back at you, then you need to really take a good look at yourself and find a way to change that energy to a place and a point where it becomes productive and positive as opposed to negative and unproductive.
Very, very, very interesting.
And also, David, you're in a 6th personal year. Personal years in numerology are part of these continuing 9-year cycles. Personal years go birthday to birthday. So you're in a 6th personal year, which started at your birthday, will end at your birthday next year. So there will be more energy around home and family this year. And you may very well find yourself in a position this year where you may end up in somewhat of a caretaking role for someone. Perhaps you'll have to take care of an elderly parent or a sibling or something, someone who maybe runs into some health issues or some difficulty in life, and you may have to step into that void to take care of them. So it's very important that does happen, that you embrace that with a great deal of love and grace and open arms, because it will help you in your life and it will help you in moving forward.
Wow. Oh,
You've been forewarned, David.
I have. Oh, God, that's good.
Well, I'd like to know what my numbers mean, but I'm a woman that doesn't like to tell her age on air, so I'm going to pull Michael off live air for a second to give him my actual birth date. So bear with us for a moment.
Okay. She'll return in a couple of minutes, people. So let's hang in there.
Okay, we are back. Okay. Well, Pamela, you have a 1 life path. You have a 19-1 life path. So the 1 is an indication that you're a leader, not a follower. All right?
Right.
You're a person who, 1s are idea people. They're originators. They're initiators. They're people who get things going. Now, many times you get things going, and they may not necessarily finish them. So it's important that whatever project you start, that you surround yourself with a team of people that can help you accomplish your goals.
Okay.
Okay? The 19-1 shows that you have leadership abilities and talent that would be very useful in the public service sector. You would very much be the person who's the head of a project as either the organizer, the director, the manager. You would you have a way with words, and you would certainly be a very good speaker or lecturer. You have a great deal of energy and vitality, and you've got a great intellect, so you have a mind that's very capable of overcoming things. You have a real ability to collect and synthesize information and learn from your past mistakes. You have a great ability to attract love and money, and there is the possibility of having a good marriage or a good relationship with a contented home life and material happiness and whatnot. Now, because your life path is a 1, but it's a 19-1, 1 is the first number, 9 is the last number. So in this lifetime, you may have a lot of situations of beginnings and endings. So you just need to learn to kind of ride the tide there. And it's very important for you to learn to master your emotions. So any upheavals don't create more negativity. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, if you're a very negative 19-1, there's a part of you that can almost lead a double life. On one hand, you can create a very positive image of yourself, while you may lead a life of lies and deceit and whatnot. So this is certainly a lifetime in which your courage will be tested and your strength will be tested. So it's important that you recognize these tests as they show up for what they are. And you need to really learn to not become victimized by that which you go through. Again, you have great endurance. You need to always remember and recognize the fact that, it is darkest before the dawn. So no matter how upsetting, ugly, whatever the case may be, a situation may be, it's only a precursor to something better.
And as I've grown older, I've learned to think of it that way, that, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Right. Now, you have a 4 challenge in the first position, so chances are very good you came out of a very disciplined home. A lot of rules and regulations, perhaps parents or a parent who was military, police, something like that. But certainly rules and regulations.
My dad was a Marine.
There you go. Mm-hmm. You do have a 3 lifetime challenge. So again, the 3 lifetime challenges, the challenge of self-esteem and self-expression. Again, finding your voice. So one of the great things for you, and obviously you do it because you're in broadcasting, is to use your voice to put yourself out there and to share your life and your views and your perceptions with others as a means of teaching and understanding. You have the final cycle of your life, which would be after the age of 62, is a 7. So a couple of things there. One, the last part of your life will certainly have a very large overriding element of study and research and spirituality. It'll certainly be a time for increasing your knowledge and information of things. It's also great that whatever you do learn, you turn around and share. And the other condition of a 7 final cycle is that if you're in a relationship, chances are very good you will outlive your mate.
Oh, wow. I guess I'm not telling my husband that.
Well, he'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
Now, you are currently in a 9 personal year. So you are in the final year of your current 9-year cycle. Now, just to give you a little more detail on the 9-year cycle, the best way to think of a 9-year cycle is to think about planting a garden. And then in a 1 year, you would plan your garden. You would decide where in your yard you're going to put it. You would make a determination as to what it is you're going to plant, and you would go to the garden center and buy the soil and fertilizer and seed and whatever else you need to plant that garden. And then if you plant that garden, as long as you tend to it accordingly each step along the way, you will reap what you have sown. And that's pretty much the analogy for a 9-year cycle, that in a 1 year you make your plans, you work them accordingly, and then in the 8th and 9th year you will reap what you have sown. So now you are in your 9 year, so the reaping period may be over, but it's also very important that in a 9 year you work to rid yourself of those things and situations and conditions and people in your life that do not serve you. It's very, very important that you take this step. It's very important that you recognize those things and people in your life that don't serve you and that you work to rid yourself of them. Now, some of these things may go away on their own. Mm-hmm. Some of this stuff you're going to need to be proactive with. But the important thing to remember is this, that if there are things in your life that do not work in your best interest, that do not serve you at their highest good, if you do not rid yourself of them, if you carry them forward into your next 9-year cycle, if you think they're bad now, they're going to get worse.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Well, the incentive there then is to get rid of these things.
Yeah.
Because you want to go into your next 9-year cycle with a relatively clean slate. You want to be able to go into that next 9-year cycle in a way that will allow you to move forward, make new plans, and move forward unencumbered.
Okay. I think I pretty much got rid of the people that I don't want in my life at this point. But, now you have me rethinking. Are there any more?
Yeah. Are there?
Yeah. And again, these can also be situations and whatnot. So you really do want to kind of take that inventory, sit down and make up a list. And then, again, some of this stuff will just disappear on its own. It knows that its time is up and it will move forward and move on. Other things may need a little kick in the butt, and that's where it's incumbent upon you to get rid of it.
Yeah. Well, as far as the money situation, I